Okay guys, and welcome to the last video on the mini-series on theory of the firm, and this one is covering oligopoly. What I want to bring your attention to now is what we call a payoff matrix in economics, and you can ignore all of that stuff at the start, right? That's for a different question that I couldn't delete. Now assume that the market in which firm A operates has evolved into an oligopoly with only two firms. An oligopoly with only two firms is also known as a duopoly, just so we're clear. Firm A and firm B. Each firm can cut price or maintain its current price. I will say decrease or reduce. I won't say cut. The following payoff matrix shows the profits they face. The profit payoffs for firm A are in bold. Okay, now the concept is, using the profit figures in the payoff matrix, explain why strategic interdependence would lead both firms to cut price. Now this is what I want you to see, and I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to read through the lengthy answer, which is there primarily for your understanding as well. You wouldn't have to write half as much of that in the exam. Now, if they both maintain the price that they agreed, or at least tacitly agreed, not explicitly, implicitly agreed, they will both get 18 million. Now the thing is, if firms in oligopoly are interdependent. They maximize their profits by doing two things, like being aware of the price that they charge, and also being aware of the actions of their rival, their strategies. I will say actions as well, but I will try to say strategies. Now, if firm B maintains its price and firm A reduces its price or cuts its price, well then it will get 24 million instead of 18. So if firm B maintains, it's got a profit incentive to reduce its price. If they start off here and firm B cuts its price, okay, so now they're here if they maintain it. If they maintain their price, they'll get 3 million. However, if they also reduce their price, they get 8 million. So let's analyze this. If firm B maintains its price, firm A will get a higher payoff, hence the name payoff matrix, if they reduce their price. If firm B cuts its price, firm A will get a higher payoff if it reduces its price also. So no matter what firm B does, firm A is going to be richer, earn more money, be better off financially if it reduces its price, irrespective of what firm B does. So it's what we call a dominant strategy, that irrespective of firm B's actions, firm A is always better off if they cut their price, if they reduce their price. Now let's look at firm B here. We start off here, okay? If A maintains its price, firm B gets 18 million. But if firm B reduces its price, it gets 24 million. So if firm A maintains, firm B is better off reducing its price, and as such has a profit incentive to do so. Now, if we start, let's just go here then, okay? So firm B was maintaining, and then firm A cut its price. Well then what should firm B do? It should cut its price as well, reduce its price, because 8 million is higher than 3 million. So if firm A maintains the price, B is better off reducing its price. If firm A reduces its price, B is better off reducing its price. So either way, both firms the dominant strategy for both of them is to reduce their price. And they will end up both here at $8 million. Now, obviously, if they could maintain the cartel, maintain the collusion, they would both be up here and be earning $18 million. It's over twice the amount. But because they have a dominant strategy, it brings them away from the best for them, but ultimately a better situation for the consumer and society. Now, I'm going to say this in a very long-winded way, and I apologize, but it is designed to increase understanding. Okay, understanding is what it's designed to increase. The level of profits earned by each firm in an oligopoly depends on two things. The strategy that they pursue, so the price, as I said earlier, what do they pursue? And also the strategy that is pursued by their rival. Now, what I mean by strategy is increase or reduce price, maintain or reduce price. Okay, so we're just saying, are they sticking to what they said they would do, or what appears to be working, or are they going to reduce price? Firms in oligopoly are what are called interdependent, and they have to take the actions of their rivals into account when making a decision. Now, let's have a look at this. If firm B maintains its price, firm A can earn higher profits if it cuts its price or reduces its price, as 24 million is greater than 18 million. Therefore, if firm B maintains its price, firm A has a profit incentive to reduce it. So let's have a look here. So let's look at the first question, right? So firm B is maintaining its price. What should I do? If I maintain, I get 18 million. If I cut it or reduce it, I get 24, right? So I'm better off reducing my price if firm B maintains it. Now let's analyse if firm B reduces its price. So if firm B reduces its price, firm A again can earn higher profits if it reduces its price, as 8 million is greater than 3 million. Therefore, if firm B reduces its price, firm A has a profit incentive to reduce its price also. So let's have a look at this. So firm B actually cuts its price, reduces its price, and firm A is like, okay, what am I going to do now? Am I going to maintain my price and earn 3 million, or am I going to reduce my price also and earn 8 million? 8 million is better than 3 million. Either way, I know I've said it twice now, and forgive me for that, but either way, firm A is better off cutting its price no matter what firm B does. So if firm B maintains its price, firm A will reduce theirs. That's what that word is meant to say there, theirs. If firm B reduces its price, firm A will reduce theirs. Therefore, firm A will reduce its price no matter what strategy firm B chooses and vice versa. The reason that they are reducing their price is because it is in their financial interest to do so, because they know they can't count on, no matter what firm B does, because they know they can't count on what? They know they can't count on firm B because it's not them. They also have this deadly dilemma, okay? Now, what are we on to now? We're on to 2A here. Is that right? 2A. Okay, very good. Now, let's have a look at this and stay nice and calm. We've got this, and I know it's not exactly oligopoly, but, we're just going through stuff, so it doesn't really matter. Calculate the economic theory made by the cartel if its members jointly supply 50,000 units per month. So what we're saying is, if enough firms, if all the firms in the industry, if all the suppliers of a particular good or service join together and behave as one, they are acting like a monopoly, hence this. But it's a cartel. Right, so calculate the economic profit made by the cartel if members jointly supply 50,000 units. Well, let's work this out here for a second. So here is 50,000. As always, I'm sure you're sick of hearing me say this. Don't do what I do. I'm only writing in pen so you guys can see easier. Okay, so please do it in pencil in the exam. Okay, so what we need to do is, right, is this the profit maximizing quantity? Absolutely not. Where is that? There. Okay, where is the allocative efficient quantity? It's here. Okay, that's the allocative because that's where P equals MC. Where is the productively efficient quantity? That's here at 80,000. Okay, so again, just trying to bring constantly going over, bringing everything in. Now, at this quantity, how do we define whether the firm is making a profit or a loss? Well, we know that the firm will make a profit or loss depending on what is going on between average total cost, which is this U-shaped curve, and average revenue. Now, so what we have here is thusly. Okay, so I think that is 12. And what is 12? The average total cost. The cost on average, how much it costs per unit to make one good, and then will I go from the quantity to touch the average cost and go across, and then to find the price I go up to the average revenue curve from this quantity, which is up here and across, and I believe that is 16. Okay, and that's 16. Now, let's we've looked at that, let's kind of analyze it a little bit better. Okay, and I'll just take this down so you can kind of see everything there. Okay, excellent. Well, profit equals quantity multiplied by average revenue minus average cost, and we know it's total revenue minus total cost and all this kind of stuff. So quantity is 50,000 units. Sorry, I'm writing the wrong pen. Okay, quantity is 50,000 units. Average revenue, we have already found out, is 16. How do we find that out? Well, we went up to the demand curve, or the average revenue curve, from the quantity and went across, and we got 16. Average cost is 12. How do we find that? We went up from the quantity to the average cost curve and across, and we get 12. Okay, so what we have now is 50,000 units times $4 profit per unit equals profit, supernormal profit, okay, of 200,000. Okay, that's just your answer there. Yes, you can see all that. Thankfully, that's very good. I didn't do anything silly as I usually do. Now, looking at the next thing here, outline the reason why. Oh God, no, I'm at the wrong one. Sorry guys, I do apologize. Okay, before we get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, identify the level of output which would maximize revenue for the cartel. Well, obviously I've got my answer written, but let's look at it. Okay, well, we know that the level of output that maximizes revenue is that level of output where marginal revenue is 0. And I think that this is 90,000 units. Okay, the reason there is because up until this point, marginal revenue is still positive. Now, it's not profit maximizing, this is here, okay, where MC equals M or, but it's revenue maximizing. And there may be reasons, like not to avoid the attention of government, that they would pursue revenue maximization rather than profit maximization. Okay, so revenue is maximized at that quantity where marginal revenue equals 0. Marginal revenue equals 0 at Q equals 90,000 units. Now, answer, total revenue is maximized at Q is 90,000 units. What was I looking for, a gold star or something? Okay, right, enough of that. Now, on to the next one. Calculate the value of total revenue per month for the members of the cartel if they produce the revenue maximizing level of output. Right, well, we have already established that Q is 90,000. So what we need to do is find the price. Now, I kind of have have many issues, but I have an issue with this in that it should be crossing at a box where a box crosses, but it's not. So there's an element of guessing here. Okay, so we go, excuse me, just waiting for the ink to dry. We go across and we get something like 11. Now, don't worry about this, guys, because they're actually nice in the IB when it comes to this. They see that there's an element of guesswork there and so on and so forth. So what we're going to say is that, well, look, okay, total revenue is priced by quantity. The price we just discovered was $11. The quantity we had reasoned was 90,000. So it is $11 times 90,000. And I believe that is 990,000, and I'm right to believe that because I've just checked my cheat sheet. Okay, so that's what I've got there. I hope that everything makes sense. Now, just forgive me, I'll fix these. It's just annoying. Outline the reason why, even if a cartel achieves its objective of jointly maximizing profit, there will be an incentive for members of the cartel to cheat. That is why these things do not last forever, guys. There's always that incentive. Given enough time, someone will respond, okay? So if a cartel member sells its output at a price lower than the cartel price, or sells a greater quantity of output than the agreed quota, that will benefit, or excuse me, that firm will benefit from an increase in sales, an increase in market share, and most likely an increase in profit. Okay, so that's why these firms cheat. It's in their financial self-interest to do so, all right? And again, I really hope that makes sense. Now, what are we doing here? We're here. Okay, so explain two conditions, apart from the incentive for members to cheat, which make cartel structures difficult to maintain. Okay, well, the first one is cost differences. It is likely that firms in the cartel will have different costs. As a result, it will be difficult for the cartel to come to an agreement on price and output. So there's one thing, okay? Number of firms so they might join it for a while and say, actually, lads, this isn't working out for me. I'm not happy with it. I'm just going to do my own thing. Number of firms in the cartel. The larger the number of firms, the more likely it is that one of them will cheat, and and the more difficult, excuse me, it is to come to an agreement on common prices. Now, we did say that we couldn't cheat. We couldn't say cheating, but it is true. But it is also difficult. If you've got 2,000 people trying to agree on something, it's impossible. That's why perfect competition, that's why monopolistic competition, otherwise known as imperfect competition, there's no collusion. There's just too many people. It would just collapse immediately. So that's why. And that's why there is collusion in oligopoly, or at least can be, because there's very few firms, so it's easier to come to an agreement. Potential entry into the market. This is another reason why it's difficult for cartel structures to maintain. Supernormal profits will attract new firms into the industry. If barriers, or abnormal profits, if barriers to entry can be overcome, an introduction of new firms may weaken the cartel and lead to price competition. Of course that's true. Of course that's true. The more people that can enter, well, then there's no barriers to entry. Then it might as well be imperfect competition, or monopolistic, which is the same thing. Market share of the cartel. The smaller the market share, the smaller of total sales of the market that the cartel controls, right, the greater the incentive to leave. I'm not even talking about cheating, just lads, I'm out. Greater incentive to leave, as the benefits of the membership might not be that significant. So it's like, no, I'd rather my own autonomy and a slight drop in sales than be with you, give up my autonomy and have a slight increase in sales. And then changing objectives. Well, if the objectives of the members of the cartel change, this may make it difficult for cartel members to agree on future prices. It's all about what are the problems with agreements, and this is where we're at now. Okay, excellent. So I know I just keeping an eye on what I'm doing. Now, the very first thing I want to read here is that the following diagram illustrates the demand conditions faced by Firm B, which operates in a non-collusive, oligopolistic market structure. It currently charges a price of $10 per unit. Right, well, we'll do the old-fashioned thing and write down what we know, which is if it charges a price for $10 per unit, that's absolutely fantastic. And, you know, that is important to know. Right at the kink, typical oligopolistic. But we have to be very careful here. And even with my bad eyesight, I think I'm doing okay. Okay, so this here is the quantity, which I read that as 22,000, yeah, 22. Okay, so that's where they are at now. That's just the first thing I want you to know. Where did I get that price from? We were told it in the question. Now, it is the overriding price, but still, because it's at the kink, the price at the kink. Define the term non-collusive. So this refers to the idea that firms do not come together to set an explicit agreement on price or quantity, but they could have an implicit one, right? They could be like, I see that other competitor of mine is charging $10 a unit. Yeah, I'm going to keep charging $10 a unit. I might be able to drop my price, but I'm not going to do it now because I'm afraid through interdependence of what that my competitor will do. So that's what a non-collusive oligopolistic arrangement or agreement is, or a market structure. Now this is very important. Now I know I've got this stuff here, but you're not children, so I'm not going to pretend to cover it with my hand like that. Calculate the price elasticity of demand if price increases to $12. Well, it would be good to know, and massively important and necessary, to know what the quantity demanded is, or what it has changed to. Okay, so we've gone from there, and again, be very careful here, guys. Okay. And I think that's 9. Okay, so that's the new price and quantity. Okay, great, smashing super. Right, here we go now. So there are two ways which are actually the same way to calculate PD, is percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. Or another, and dare I say it, better way, is just going Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 multiplied by P1 over P2 minus P1. If you work that out and you transpose that formula, you will get this one here. Okay, so I'm going to use the second one because it's just easier. I think students find it easier. Now, be able to do both, but you know, if you have the choice, I just think you're less likely to make a mistake doing it this way. Okay, so what are we going to say? So PED equals, and I've already written all this stuff out. Okay, Q2 minus Q1, which is 9 Q2 minus Q1, which is 22, divided by Q1, which is 22. All of this I'm just doing here, guys, from this formula there. Multiplied by P1, which is 10, over P2, which is 12, minus P1, which is 10. Okay, well, let's tidy up each of these fractions first. So 9 minus 22, I get minus 13, divided by 22, multiplied by 10 over 2. So I'm going to write out PED equals. Now, I'm not into what you can cancel or what you can't. I'm just going to go top by top, bottom by bottom, simply because I don't want to lose anybody. Okay, so that's how you multiply fractions, guys, is top by top, bottom by bottom. And then what we get is an answer of minus 2.95. So I'll write down here ANS standing for answer, PED equals minus 2.95. Okay, absolutely fantastic. Now, let's have a look at question 3C. Calculate the price elasticity of demand if price decreases to 4. Okay, $4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a different color pen. Please, please, please do what I say, not what I do, which is use pencil. I'm only doing this so you guys can see it on the video. Okay. There's a price of 4. We go down from this point here. And I think that's 26, 27, 28. I think that's 28, guys. Okay? Now, so therefore, I have obviously set this up. Here's one I prepared earlier, right? And I, again, am going to use this formula for PED. Now, what we've got here is PED equals Q2, which is 28, minus Q1, which is 22, all over Q1, which is 22, okay, which is fantastic, okay, multiplied by P1, which is 10, over P2, which is 4, minus P1, which is 10. So what we have there now is 28 minus 22 is 6 over 22, multiplied by 10, over minus 6. Now I know you can cancel and stuff like that, guys. I'm not concerned about that at all, right? So top by top, bottom by bottom, which is 60, divided by minus 132. And what that equals is minus 0.454. So I'm going to write down my answer, okay? PED equals minus 0.45. And again, I know there's other ways. I'll try and do this in the other videos, but essentially that's what we've got there. I know you can do the first formula as well. I just think that's better. I just think the one that I've chosen is better. Using the diagram in your previous answers, explain why price rigidities exist in non-collusive oligopolistic markets. Well, let's think about this, right? So let's go back here. And we're going to look at the PED. So it's minus 2.95, which means it obeys the law of demand. So this is following a price increase, right? It's elastic following a price increase. So the worst thing you can do, that means the quantity demanded will respond to then a greater proportion than the percentage change in price. Okay, so if price goes up from 10 to 12, that's a 20% increase. We're saying that this is nearly 3. Quantity demanded will fall by nearly 60%. Okay, that's what we're saying. By 3 times that. All right, so that's a huge loss in terms of total revenue and most likely profit. So we're not going to go near that. If we come to this one, you must forgive me, and this is lowering price to 4, well, it's inelastic. So yes, we will. So if price goes from 10 to 4, I believe that's a 60% reduction, okay, in price. But what we're saying is, and assume round this off to 0.5, quantity demanded will only increase by 30%, which is half of 60. It's really now 0.45 times 60%. So that's another loss in total revenue. So we don't want to do that. So if we are at this point, we have seen that if we increase price, total revenue falls. If we decrease price, total revenue falls. So why would you why would you change price even if it's not an explicit or an illegal agreement? If an oligopolistic firm increases its price, it may expect its rivals to leave their price unchanged, hence it's elastic with a price increase. This would mean that demand is elastic and total revenue would fall because prices increased. If you want to increase total revenue and you have an elastic good, or you're operating on the elastic part or portion of the demand curve, you should lower price. On the other hand, if the firm reduces its price, it may expect its rivals to also reduce their price. This would mean that demand is inelastic and total revenue would fall as a result of the price decrease. Therefore, it is not in the firm's interest to change price, and this gives rise to price rigidities in non-collusive oligopolistic markets. Now guys, thank you so much. That's the end of that video, okay? That's me done, and that's the end of market structures for paper 3. I really hope this helps, and I really hope to see you in the next video.